Imagine a battlefield where there are no rules, no Geneva Convention, where screams are the only language spoken, and mercy, well, mercy hasn't even been invented yet. That was the terrifying reality of ancient warfare. And today, we're opening the case files on some of the most shocking crimes ever committed in the ancient world.
Just let that sink in for a second. What would you do? Because this isn't just a history lesson. This is a journey into the absolute darkest corners of human nature. A place where survival meant throwing away everything we now call civilized.
Look, I know these stories are heavy. They're tough to hear, but they have to be told. They have to be remembered. By taking a second to subscribe, you're not just helping a channel, you're helping us make sure these voices from the past are never, ever silenced. Thank you for that. All right, let's get into this. Our first case file takes us to the gates of Carthage. The year is 146 BCE, and the Roman army is about to do something that goes way beyond winning a war. They weren't there to conquer a city. They were there to literally wipe it off the face of the earth. 50,000. That's the number that haunts the ruins of Carthage. For 6 straight days, Roman soldiers just poured into the city. Men, women, children. It didn't matter. They were cut down. 50,000 souls, either killed on the spot or dragged away in chains to be slaves. And this is the detail that tells you everything about their true goal. It wasn't enough to kill everyone and burn the city down. No, they actually poisoned the very land it stood on. It was a final, absolute curse to make sure that the memory of Carthage died right along with its people. So if Carthage was about erasing an enemy, our next case shows us how Rome used terror against its own people. We're jumping to 71 BCE. The famous slave rebellion, led by Spartacus, has just been crushed. But for Rome, this wasn't just about punishment. This was a chance to create a public spectacle of pure, unadulterated terror. 6,000. That's how many of Spartacus's followers were captured alive. And their punishment? Crucifixion. And you have to understand, this isn't a quick execution. It's a slow, agonizing death sentence, designed to be seen by as many people as humanly possible. Just try to imagine it. You're traveling the Appian Way, one of the busiest roads in the entire ancient world, and you see this, a line of crosses stretching for miles into the distance. The Romans didn't just want these rebels dead, they wanted to make their deaths a permanent, horrifying landmark. This wasn't justice, it was a message, written in blood and agony for all to see. The brutality we've seen so far, you could argue it was strategic. But what happens when that strategy twists into something else? Into cold, calculated, systematic slaughter? Our next 2 cases, they reveal a level of cruelty that's honestly hard to even wrap your head around. Okay, look at the escalation here. On one side, you have Alexander the Great at Tyre. After a brutal fight, he executes the men, crucifies 2,000 survivors right there on the beach. It's an act of monstrous rage. But then, fast forward a couple of centuries, King Mithridates VI takes that rage and refines it into something much, much colder. 80,000. In a single coordinated day, Mithridates ordered the slaughter of every single Roman civilian living in his territory. This wasn't the heat of battle, this wasn't rage, this was a planned, meticulously executed massacre of men, women, and children. And that's the key. This wasn't war anymore. It was genocide. The sheer scale, the cold calculation, it was something brand new. And it set a terrifying new precedent for what humans were capable of. So, you have to ask, why? Why do these things? Was it just uncontrollable anger? No. It was far more deliberate. We need to look at the psychology here, at the cold, hard logic of using terror as a weapon. This is the core of it, psychological warfare. The goal isn't just to beat an army, it's to break a people's will to even exist. The Assyrian king, Sennacherib, he was a master of this. When he took Babylon, he didn't just steal their gold. His soldiers dug up their dead and scattered their bones. For the Babylonians, this was a fate worse than death itself. It was an attack on their souls, on their entire afterlife. So when you look at all these different atrocities, you start to see a clear pattern emerge, almost like a playbook for building an empire on fear. Step 1, you erase any opposition, making it crystal clear that fighting back is pointless. Step 2, you use that memory to terrorize the survivors, so they'll obey without another fight. And the end result?
Step 3, absolute domination. It was never random. It was always, always about power.
It's really easy for us to sit here and dismiss all this as just horrors from a barbaric, bygone era. But the past isn't always gone. Sometimes it's just buried. And that brings us to a final, absolutely chilling discovery. In 2014, not that long ago, archaeologists in Greece found a mass grave. It's ancient, from right around the time of the events we've been talking about, but what they found inside, it adds a whole new, terrifying layer to all of this. The victims, they were children. Their tiny skeletons showed they were executed ritually. Their hands were bound behind their backs. We have no idea why. Was it some kind of sacrifice? A twisted act of revenge? The site gives us zero answers. It's a cold case, nearly 3,000 years old, reminding us that for every atrocity we can explain away as a tool of power, there are others whose motives are lost to an even deeper, more unknowable darkness. Okay, we've journeyed through some of history's absolute darkest moments together. Now it's time to step back and just process what we've seen. Putting this all together, it's heavy stuff. It really forces you to confront this immense capacity for cruelty that exists inside of us as a species. These aren't just names and dates. These were real people, with families, with lives. And just remembering them, bearing witness to what happened to them, that feels like the most important thing we can do. It's a reminder of what we have to constantly fight to be better than. So, with all that said, I really want to hear from you. We've covered some truly horrific events today. Which one of these ancient war crimes just shocked you the most? Was it A, the total annihilation of Carthage? B, the terrifying public spectacle of the Spartacus crucifixions? C, the brutal massacre at Tyre? D, the cold, calculated genocide by Mithridates? Or E, the psychological torment of desecrating Babylon's graves? Drop your vote in the comments, and please share why that particular one hit you the hardest. These are such important conversations to have. So to make sure you don't miss our next investigation, please hit that subscribe button and ring the little notification bell. It means a lot to have you join our community of truth seekers. Remember, history's darkest chapters aren't just stories, they are warnings. Thank you for bearing witness with us. We'll see you in the next case file.